What's up, everybody, man? I just wanted to come in here and talk about this representation thing right now. And, bae, what would you classify as true representation? When you look at Val Zod and you look at Calvin Ellis, both black Supermen, right? Would you consider that true representation? Or just a variant of a character that already exists?
They're variants.
Would you consider somebody like Icon, Static Shock, would you consider those to be true representation?
Yeah.
Why?
They're their own thing. Like, they didn't take their, you know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't take someone else's identity, you know what I mean?
They're not sharing anybody's mantle. Nothing's passed down to them. No hand-me-down mantles.
And they're just cool characters that are black. You know what I'm saying? Like, the characters themselves, their stories, their individual stories are dope.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so...
I personally think Icon is definitely an interesting character that they have never really used.
They need to give him and the old girl Rocket, you know what I'm saying? Give them 3 movies. I'm telling you, one for him, one for her. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Rocket is kind of like his sidekick. You know what I'm saying?
I know that, but I'm saying, world building here. I'm just saying.
Right. Started off with him.
Started off with him and his backstory, whatever, leading to Earth, you know what I'm saying? Second movie, introduce her backstory, up until their point of meeting. Third movie, them linking up and, doing their first,
adventure together. Or something like that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's just logical to me.
Yeah, that would definitely be cool. Rocket is definitely an interesting character as well.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like you're not showing necessarily a stereotypical view of a type of person. You're just showing a character, their backstory, and making everything make sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're just making things make sense. Like, for whatever reason, the only thing that seems to make sense is unless it says it's good because it's black.
Yeah, that's
the only thing that makes sense to a lot of people right now, or it has to be a person of color doing something. And I'm not mad at, whatever color you guys decide to paint these characters, but write the characters well.
Yeah, because they don't. And a lot of times it doesn't feel genuine either. Lately it doesn't. I feel like they did a better job of writing characters of color back in the 90s.
Yeah. It's like...
even in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, they did a way better job of writing black characters or characters of color back then. Far more than they do these days. Everything seems forced now. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel genuine. It's like they're doing it for points. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hate that shit. I can't stand that.
I'm telling you, these people have an invisible checklist of things that just have to be there because they want to please everybody.
But
that might have a problem with this shit. And I'm just like, you're not gonna please everybody. Stop trying to please everybody. Just focus on making the show good. And maybe every kind of person might like that kind of show.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. See, and I was thinking, like, say, let's use Batwoman as an example. I feel like with Batwoman, they're only trying to appeal to a black audience or a minority audience or something like that. Black and lesbian or LGBT, right?
Okay.
That's a mistake that they make with these characters of color, is they try to appeal to those demographics only. Yeah. Where when you see characters like Captain America, Batman, I don't know, anybody that's a mainline hero, Iron Man or something like that, right? Those characters appeal to everyone.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? They purposely make those characters with mass appeal. But for some reason with characters of color, they're only trying to go after the minority demographic. And I feel like that is absolutely foolish.
That's a mistake.
It's stupid. That's why I hate when they put current events and stuff like Batwoman.
Yeah.
They're not calling it a BLM riot, but on that episode with those poison bats,
yeah,
they were mimicking what a BLM riot was like. They need to stay away from that shit. I feel like stay away from real world things that are going on, current events. It doesn't belong in their world. Their world is supposed to be our escape. Their world is supposed to be a fantasy for us, the viewer or reader, to get away from reality. So why the fuck are you bringing reality, you know what I'm saying, into a fantasy situation?
Well, babe,
it's dumb as hell.
I can tell you why they're doing it. Just because they think they're supposed to do that, I guess. But, what's her name? Since you used Batwoman as an example, one of the writers for Batwoman, Ebony Gilbert.
Oh, boy.
And her spotlight they did on her last week. She said she, went to college and got all, her degrees and all this shit. Go, girl, good for you. Much love and positivity on that good news and all that shit.
Yeah, that's always good.
You know what I mean? Someone advancing in life is great. She said she came to a crossroads. Because she's always, ever since she was a child, written about her surroundings and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's cool, I don't think that's the makings of a superhero show writer, though, which is
definitely not.
That's the way she decided to go, where she said she was on the fence between going into journalism or news or some shit.
Should have took your ass to journalism.
And instead, she wanted to reach more people with her type of storytelling. You know what I'm saying?
She wanted to reach more people by
going into TV that no one who watches this, well, not a lot of people who watch this care that much about the shit that you talking about.
That was a mistake on her part.
And I mean, it's her life. She did what she wanted to do and shit, but I'm saying the people who hired her, for whatever reason, I'm very curious as to, what part of superhero shit did you see in her portfolio? You know what I'm saying?
Nothing at all.
Because she said that her whole life she was writing the same type of shit.
And that's all she writes about. That's literally her life right there. And that's fine. There's a place for those things in the world. But I think that she would have been better served in journalism. You get what I mean?
What she's doing is journalism. She's bringing journalism onto these shows that are no longer actually the shows that they were supposed to be. Because of her being there.
And it doesn't work. When we look at the ratings, it's showing you that it doesn't work. You're bringing subject matter into a place that it wasn't before. People didn't go to these books to read about what you're talking about. They read it to read about fantasy, or they watched these shows to watch something take place that's not real. It's a fantasy setting. And you're bringing real world problems nobody wants in their fantasy setting. They don't want to see that. I don't want to see it. I don't want to read it. I want to read about Batwoman, or I want to watch Batwoman kick ass the way she kicks ass in the comic books. But they're not delivering that because of people like Ebony Gilbert writing for this show. And it's just out of hand at this point. And no matter how far the ratings drop, they just will not cancel this shit. I don't get it. I mean, that's another trend that's been going on too. When things do badly, they reward these people by continuing to give them a platform.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really trying to figure out why. If something is failing, it's time to move on to something else. It's time to fire that person, right? I mean, you are running a business, and the point of a business is to make money. And if you're losing customers or viewers, I would say...
time for a change somewhere.
Exactly. Damn, I don't get it. But moving on from Batwoman, I wanted to get more into what you thought about the whole Aaron Fisher situation, the new LGBT Captain America. Do you find that to be true representation?
No. He's just a variant that's,
Yeah. And I just don't understand. Like, I get that he's inspired by Captain America, but why would you call yourself Captain America of the Railways? That's what they're calling him. But why does he have to be Captain America? That's my thing. That seems to be what's going on at Marvel a lot these days. They make these variant characters and they're calling them new. Okay, the only thing new about them is who they are in appearance, but...
or who they sleep with, which is nobody's business or concern when they're looking at a comic book, really.
Yeah, they tend to lead with who they're sleeping with or what their sexual preference is or whatever their pronouns is or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a fuck about that shit. That's fine, but they don't lead with a good story. If the person just happened to be that, then that's fine. A perfect example of a gay character that I think is an absolute badass is Midnighter from DC Comics. When you look at Midnighter and then you look at the drawing that they did of Aaron Fisher, I'm like, are you kidding me? Midnighter would stomp a mud hole through this dude. Like, for real. Aaron Fisher is frail. He looks overly effeminate. You know what I mean? I mean, don't look like he can hurt a fly. Like, seriously, he doesn't really look like he can do much of anything. And I mean, when I look at Midnighter, like, Midnighter is built. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he is built and he got skills for days, and plus he has like extra like sensory powers or something like that to where he can pretty much read what you're gonna do before you do it. But he's a skilled fighter and he is hellified brutal. Like, seriously, he is hella brutal. But I mean, that's like one of my favorite DC characters, and he's gay, and I don't care that he's gay. He's been gay for a very long time. Doesn't matter. He's just a great character to read. You know what I mean? Aaron Fisher, when I look at Aaron Fisher, I want nothing to do with that character. It just looks like some poor man's knockoff of Captain America. He doesn't seem to have an identity of his own. He protects other people like him. You know, I guess people who are victims or in unfortunate circumstances or something like that. And it's like, okay, yeah, but what else you got? Like, I want an interesting backstory. Why couldn't you call him something else? Why couldn't you design his own patriotic themed costume? It's okay for him to be inspired by Steve Rogers, but he could have been his own patriotic themed character.
Yeah.
With his own backstory and own motivations and everything, but they chose not to do that. Which also reminds me of the latest Children of the Atom comic by Marvel with all the knockoff X-Men. Remember I was showing you them? Oh my God, I just learned the names of these characters, and it is just like, when I listen to these names and I look at these characters, it is more hilarious than ever. Okay, the Nightcrawler knockoffs, his name is Daycrawler. Are you kidding me, dude? Like, seriously, Daycrawler. You want to know what your female Gambit girl's name is?
What?
Gimmick. What are you talking about? Gimmick.
Listen, y'all. This is all the way wrong.
And the girl,
it is a gimmick to use her as a gimmick, because she has a gimmick of him.
Exactly. She's the super
y'all.
knockoff of Gambit.
Y'all tripping. It's a gimmick is the word, I guess. Go ahead then.
And then you got the big guy, that's dressed up like Jean Grey, and his name is Marvel Guy.
Look, man,
you guys are killing me with these names.
Creativity at?
Ask Vita Ayala. She's the one that created them.
Where's the uniqueness that makes a character?
There is no uniqueness.
Because these motherfuckers, I'm so serious, they're just gonna slide right by here. You know what I'm saying?
Stupid. Nobody cares. Nobody's gonna care about these characters. They'll be here and gone tomorrow. The female Cyclops character, I believe her name is Cyclopsis or Cyclopsless or some shit like that. Oh, there's something. It is something stupid. I think it's Cyclopsless. I don't know, but it's ridiculously stupid. And then the big black guy that's dressed up like Archangel, his name is Cherub. You called this big dude look like a football player in an armored suit. You call him Cherub.
I'm just saying, they are still attempting to change the meanings of some of these words or whatever the fuck.
Oh my God.
He's a big guy.
And you call him Cherub.
Yeah.
Cherubs are usually symbolized by
fat babies.
Little fat babies with wings. Fat baby angels with wings. And you call this big hulking dude in an armored suit with armored wings Cherub. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like, what makes Daycrawler any different from Nightcrawler, other than the fact that he might have an Instagram account or some stupid ass shit like that Vita Ayala said. One of them is a musician and makes like mutant music, whatever that is.
Whatever.
One has an Instagram, and I don't know, I think like a couple of them are like influencers or some shit like that. Man, you guys couldn't come up with anything better than that anyway. Moving on to Riri Williams. Remember her? The one that reverse engineered Tony's armor and shit like that. And I swear, in every page of the first few comics that she had, everybody was like, "You are so awesome. You are smarter than Tony." Even Tony, I think, said that she was smarter than him or something like that. I'm like, what? Bruh. I guess. I don't know, man. She doesn't feel like an original character to me at all. Like, I'm just waiting for the day that Marvel comes up with a character that is completely their own brand. You get what I'm saying? DC tried this. It wasn't a complete failure, but I think that they didn't put as much work behind it as they could have. I feel like the most promising character from their new line of heroes was Silencer. I really did like Silencer. That's an original fucking character right there. I liked Silencer a lot, and I wish she was still around. She still exists. They just haven't really been, pushing her like that. But Silencer was an awesome character. Sideways, it was kind of cool. I mean, kind of a little teen story. Sideways was cool. I would like to see him better written and see what they could do with him. Damage is their big Incredible Hulk looking guy. He was pretty cool. I thought his stories were pretty interesting, but at least they tried You know what I mean? At least they made people who were new with their own abilities. They weren't copies of anybody. They were their own characters. To me, that's true representation. Sideways was a Latino guy. I don't know exactly, what Latin ethnic group he was a part of, but he was Latino. But he was his own character, had his own thing going on, his own powers. I think he could warp or something like that, or like jump through a reality or something. I don't remember, but he was his own character, and I thought he was cool. I felt like they should have written him into like Teen Titans or something like that, or he probably could have fit on a team like that. But he was an original character, and it was cool. They need to make more stuff like that, instead of just these knockoffs. And I'm just like,
they want to reuse the titles that have made them money over the past, 80 years or so.
I get it.
But they're afraid to start anew with some new shit or push the new shit because it's highly risky, and they just want to keep making money. So instead, they will keep the title, and they will just redesign the character and say, oh, you guys should love this because it looks like you. Or they like the same kind of people you like. Or whatever the fuck their reasoning they're trying to push on you is. The real thing is they're making money off of people, okay? And they're being lazy.
They're hella lazy.
They don't want to try new shit. And also on the reader's part or whatever, finding new original characters or whatever should be shared. You know what I'm saying?
There's a full instruction manual on how to make new characters and make them successful. It's called anime and manga. I mean, look at what they're doing in manga. I mean, they have new characters coming out all the time. I mean, they keep their classics too. I mean, Dragon Ball's been around for who knows. You know what I'm saying? One Piece has like 1,000 chapters and shit. So it's like, okay, I get it. But they always come up with new shit. They're always making new and interesting things, man. And it's all because, to me, I think it's all because not just the art and the characters, but, well, yeah, the characters have a lot to do with it, but the writing is really good. Like, they don't get into all of this politics and stuff that we have going on in our books over here in America. They don't get into any of that. It's just a straight up adventure fest. Like, for real, people are getting fucked up. It's all about the adventure. It's all about the fight. It's all about mystery. It's excitement. Like, all these different things going on. And they do have transgender characters or people who are gay. They have them, but they don't harp on the fact that these characters are gay or transgender or whatever. They don't lean with that shit. They don't lean on it. It's just there. You know what I mean? It's just there. And the characters are badass. And they're awesome to read. And I feel like, people over here in America need to take note of that. And instead, it seems like with every turn, they're trying to tear down Japanese anime. They're trying to tear down manga. They're so busy trying to criticize how they draw their women, And it's just like, stop worrying about what they're doing over there. The only thing you need to be paying attention to is their success. And how to replicate that. Exactly. But then, they got all these SJWs that are so worried about how big Uzaki-chan's tits are. Who cares? You know what I mean? Let them do their thing. You do yours. If you don't want your characters to be built like Uzaki-chan, okay, don't draw them like that. But you could still make them aesthetically realistic, like make them kind of look like women, because Marvel's have this thing now that they make all their women look like dudes lately. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I mean, you don't have to be over exaggerated like Uzaki-chan. You don't have to do that. But I'm just saying, the writing in these books are amazing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It seems like they're just missing the whole point of everything. And no matter how much their stories that they write these days fail, it's like they're not concerned with making money. They're more concerned with pushing out whatever agenda or message they're trying to push out.
And they want to please the small Twitter group of people.
Those people are minuscule in numbers when it comes to people who are actually readers of these books, and take in this content, consumers of this content. Those people are minuscule.
I don't think the companies realize that, though.
I don't think they do either. They're just loud as fuck. They're a loud, small group of people, that for some reason their voices drown out the masses. And that's what they're paying attention to, even though the numbers are telling you otherwise. You get what I'm saying? These people make all this noise, but the things that these companies put out to pander to them don't make any fucking money. So that tells me that these people are all talk. They don't buy anything. They don't actually support anything. They just get on Twitter and talk shit. But when you make something that normal people actually like, and people who actually do consume this content want, like the Snyder Cut, you make money hand over fist. And Warner Brothers is kind of killing me right now, because though they've made all of this money and success off of the Snyder Cut, now they're back to wagging their finger at fans again, calling people toxic and alt-right and all this other dumbass shit, when clearly most people who are fans of this stuff are nowhere near alt-right. They're not, It's crazy. But I just find it's mind-boggling to me, how they just don't get it.
How are these companies that are meant to entertain or, cause a customer to be happy, how are you gonna tell me what's gonna make me happy? You should just
What do you mean?
Do what I like. No, because what they're doing is they come up with narratives that they want to push out or messages that they want to tell us. And then they'll say, oh, well, we did that because, you should like this.
No, I should like what the fuck I want to like.
And
I like what I like.
Oh, but you just don't like this because you don't understand that you're supposed to like. Like they make it seem like the fans are wrong for not liking the shit that they're putting out.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're
and that usually ends up by them saying, "Oh, if you don't like it, then you're homophobic. If you don't like it, you're a misogynist. If you don't like it, you're this. You're racist. You're
right. No, motherfucker, I just don't like this shit.
If I don't like it, I just don't fucking like it. Don't tell me. You ain't gotta call me names because I don't agree with what you're pushing out. Like I'm just not feeling it.
They're literally like they're saying you have to agree with me. This is what I'm telling you because you should learn these lessons. Like they straight up are telling us now on DuckTales on some of these episodes.
They got the DuckTales now?
I told you.
They got the DuckTales?
They got the DuckTales. They got warnings before some of these episodes play on Disney Plus. No bullshit.
Oh.
They'll tell you.
Talking about stuff might offend certain ethnic groups.
Yeah, this show was made, back then, and some of the stuff in this episode is wrong, and it's still wrong today. But hey, we're gonna let you see it and shit. But
you know what? Okay, if they want to put a disclaimer up like that, fine.
No, this is stupid.
It is stupid.
How you gonna tell me that it's wrong that they did that shit, and that it's still wrong? They're preaching to me right now.
everything is overly preachy
I didn't
right
ask
now.
you
And
for
I
that.
hate that.
I didn't ask you for that. I didn't ask you to tell me that this is some wrong shit.
Just play the show.
As a viewer, you know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck about your stance or whatever I'm coming to you to be entertained, motherfucker. I'm not looking for your political or social stance on
anything.
Really. Like I just want you to do your job, which is to entertain me.
So, stop preaching at me.
All that other shit is irrelevant.
Oh yeah, I think that shit is crazy, man. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about that right quick because I feel like with all of these variant characters, these characters are not representation. I mean, going back to that, these variant characters are not representation at all. They're just black versions or gay versions or whatever, or female versions of characters that already exist. They don't have any identity of their own. They're just black. They're just gay. They're just female. That's it. Everything else is exactly like the character that they're copying off of, pretty much. That Children of the Atom shit, though, I'm sorry. Like, that shit is not only are they knockoffs, but their names are terrible. Vita Ayala is, I don't want to say she's talentless. I don't know this lady, but if this is any example of what I'm gonna be getting from her, I'm not feeling this shit. Make new characters from the ground up. Oh, before I leave out of here, I cannot leave, and I know they talked about this a long time ago, man, but that Snowflake and Safe Space bullshit, I'm so glad that they didn't come out with that. They corrected that shit immediately. They saw the backlash that they got from that shit, and they was like, they hit the brakes on that. That is terrible. Now, I will give it to, what is that guy's name? What's that dude's name that created them? You remember? Kibblesmith, I think. Daniel Kibblesmith. The one thing I will say about Daniel Kibblesmith, those characters that he created, although they are lame as hell, they were original. The internet gas boy was just stupid, but it was an original attempt. The Dora Explorer looking chick that was kind of big, the big girl, what was she, like an Inuit girl or something like that?
I guess.
Yeah, it's an original idea, but it was originally stupid. A magic backpack from...
couldn't she move fast or run fast?
Nope.
What the hell did the backpack do to her?
The backpack was just a magic backpack. They didn't really specify what it does.
Oh my gosh.
It was a backpack given to her by whatever gods she worships or whatever, something like that. But her name was Trailblazer because she charges into battle. Charges into battle doing what? Exactly. They didn't really explain what her powers were, if she has any.
That's probably where I got the whole running fast from, the Trailblazer thing.
Yeah, Trailblazer sounds like a speed character or something that's based off speed, right? Or power or something like that.
They gave it to this obese girl with a little backpack on.
Yeah, man, she looked like Fat Dora the Explorer, like for real. She really did. And I was just like, wow. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like my girls BBW, but y'all didn't do that right. I'm just saying, and it's only right that y'all canceled that shit. That's real talk. It's only right that you guys canceled that, because that was gonna crash and burn. If y'all would have came out with that book, Marvel, y'all would have crashed and burned immediately. Nobody would have bought that shit. They probably would have bought it to roast it. And I know exactly who would have done it too. Your boy Zach would have roasted it to death. Probably who else? I don't know if Eric July would have got that. I don't think so. He probably wouldn't have wasted his fucking time on that shit. But Zach definitely would have roasted it to hell and back, because that shit was terrible. But anyway, yeah, man. Just wanted to talk about this, man. That there's a real difference between what they call representation and what actual representation is. Representation to me and to anybody with common sense is making new characters that have their own identity and not passing mantles down to, whoever these people are. Don't pass these mantles down. Nobody cares about having a black Batwoman. That was a mistake. Don't do that. A gay Captain America. Come on. Stop it. Make this character interesting. Give him a backstory from the ground up. Something that makes people want to read about Aaron Fisher or Ryan Wilder. Ryan Wilder could have been her own character. There are so many characters in the Bat family. I mean, look what they did with Damian Wayne. He, ended up being Robin, but now I think he's going to be his own thing. But you got, spoiler, you got Cassandra Cain, who ended up being Black Bat. You got Duke Thomas, who ended up being Signal. I mean, damn. Bruce didn't even... He was training him, but he was like, you know what? I'm not going to make you a Robin. I'm going to make you your own thing. I want you to be your own man. And now he's his own character. That's how you do it. Y'all need to take notes. Just saying. Whoever is over at Marvel, man, y'all need to...
Shit, really everybody.
Everybody, really, because DC has their knockoffs, too. But, at least with DC, I'll say, like, they do write a lot of Elseworld stories and shit like that. So we know that Val-Zod is in his own universe. I think Val-Zod is Earth 2, and Calvin Ellis is Earth 23.
Okay, I'm gonna need more original characters for the main Earth, so everyone can get to know them and get to know them and love them. Right. And support them so that their fan base can grow, because they're so focused on, like I said, they're top earners and they're
having a black Superman.
No, just the title Superman, but yeah, adding to it, he's black too. So the black crowd will try to clamor around it or whatever because you said, it's a black thing. But really,
it just needs to be an inspirational thing. That's what a superhero is supposed to be, no matter what color he is.
Right.
So if you give
he, she, they,
care. Doesn't matter.
Right.
If you give Icon for DC, if you give Icon that same treatment, flesh him out. Give him a proper rogues gallery. Give him good inspirational writing. Stop with all the trying to only pander to the black crowd. Stop that shit. Make him an inspirational character for everyone. And people will be more open to reading about him. But y'all gotta give him some attention first. Y'all haven't even given Icon any attention. The last time I saw him was in, Justice League Unlimited, in the background somewhere. He was like a background character, but they didn't really use him. He was just there. So y'all gotta at least give him
that's what they do now. That's what they call being or using as representation. Somebody being present in a scene or on a show or something.
But don't give him no shine.
No shine, or they dumb him down real, and make it seem like they're less important than everybody else on the show, but they're just there to check a box saying, look, we have this, so you're covered in the representation thing because you're present. No, motherfucker, but it's not really good representation because
they're just there hanging out.
Yeah, and they're not actually being utilized as anything. You're not learning anything about this character. What the fuck is this? You know, like,
just there for the sake of being there, and that's it. Just so you can say, "Oh, see, there's a black character." No. Give these characters purpose. You know, give Vixen purpose. Give her a reason to be around. People already like her. Now write her well.
Her animated series was cool. But
Hell yeah.
Then they fucked around and brought her to live action in the Arrowverse, and she got lost in the shuffle with all that shit.
She got lost in the sauce.
Too many people, too many characters going around and shit. But if they would have kept her as animated and had her own little show, she would have been the shit.
Definitely.
That show could have really taken off. That was some good shit.
Now, I noticed in DC another black character who they've been trying to pay attention to, and that's Bumblebee. I'm not really a huge fan of her, but I am glad that she's around. But I'm not really a huge fan of her, but mostly because her roles are not very big. She's never been really fleshed out to me, I guess. I haven't really seen anything that really appeals to me when it comes to her. But it's cool that she's there. It's cool that she exists.
Yeah.
And then you got, I think her boyfriend is Guardian, right? Isn't her boyfriend? Her boyfriend is Guardian, I believe. So. But that's a mantle that was passed to him because I think Guardian was originally a white character. But whatever. I mean, I would still like to see them write that character in an appealing way, give him a story or something. He doesn't have to have his own book, but they could make him more present and make him more a part of a team or something like that. I think that would be cool. As far as Marvel is concerned, one of my favorite characters from Luke Cage was Misty Knight. As a black woman, as she was a marksman or something like that, and she lost her arm, I think in an explosion or something like that, and she ended up getting a bionic arm, and she joined up with Colleen Wing, and they were Daughters of the Dragon. I thought that was cool. Like, where are they? They were kind of like the female versions, for Heroes for Hire. You know what I mean? Because you had Danny and Luke. And then you had her and Colleen Wing working together. And, I thought that was pretty cool. But I would love to see more Misty Knight. Like, do something with her, Marvel. Shit. Do something with Blue Marvel. You know who Blue Marvel is? He's, Blue Marvel is a character from Marvel that's kind of a Superman-esque type figure. Black guy. Back in, like, the 60s, I think. And, he was fighting crime and everybody was cool with him saving the day. You know what I'm saying? But I think he got into a fight with a very powerful villain. And although I think he defeated the guy, his mask kind of got destroyed because he had one of those full masks. Yeah. You cover his whole, you didn't know what he was. And when his mask got torn, everybody could see that he was a black guy. And then people started to be like, oh shit, like, it was the 60s, 50s or 60s, something like that. So he kind of like went into hiding after that. You know what I mean? Because he kept trying to prove himself, like, I'm here to save people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Color has nothing to do with it. But given the time that he was in, people wasn't having that shit. So he kind of like went into hiding. But I feel like today is a new day. I mean, you could totally bring Blue Marvel back. I don't think he ages like we do. He still looks pretty young. I think he got a little bit of gray hair on the side, but he looks relatively young every time he shows up. So they could bring him back and do something with him too. They could just give him an important role. Characters like him and like Monica Rambeau is starting to get some love again. That type of shit to me is true representation. Original characters, But I'm rambling, so, I'm going to end it for real. Anything else you wanted to say?
No, just be original, get creative, hire creative people who are familiar with your universe already, so that when they make these characters, the shit kind of makes sense, at least,
Yeah.
Help your readers out, your viewers out, whatever the fuck you do. And, it's a difference between inclusivity and replacement or just being present. Representation and being present are different.
Very, very different.
And y'all got it all the way fucked up, so,
They got it hella twisted. Yeah, they got the game all fucked up.
Bye.
But yeah, we'll holler at y'all. Bye.